keeps this up. Every day that Elon Musk goes on television and goes, USA, USA, oh, transfer. I'm going to, as a billionaire, I'm going to fire every person that works for the National Forest Service. Let's get started. We're going to obviously dive really quickly into the feud between Trump and Musk before we get to the New York City mayoral race drama and all the other things that are happening. Let's take a look.
That escalating public feud between President Trump and Elon Musk, their alliance now in tatters, just days after Musk left his White House role. It started as a dispute over the president's budget bill.
But now the two men trading personal attacks and threats. John Carl is standing by. He just got off the phone with the president moments ago. But first, let's go to our senior political correspondent, Rachel Scott, who is at the White House with the latest. Good morning, Rachel.
Hey, Michael, good morning to you. And this relationship just went up in flames. A stunning turnaround and an also very public meltdown between the president and the man once considered his most powerful advisor. This morning, the explosive public feud between President Trump and Elon Musk turning vindictive and personal. The president breaking his silence after the billionaire called his signature spending bill a disgusting abomination.
Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we will anymore.
Musk warning about the level of spending in the bill, which the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office says will add $3 trillion to the national debt. Sources tell ABC News Musk personally pushed Speaker Johnson not to get rid of a tax incentive.
I love that everyone is crazy. Everyone is crazy now. Okay? It's not just the Republicans. The Republicans are also coping big time, right? Yeah, big news update. Arbor Garcia was mistakenly deported to El Salvador, is on his way back to the U.S. to face criminal charges, sources tell ABC News. What are the criminal charges he's supposed to face? Like, that's not great news, if we're being honest. It kind of feels like it's the bad news. They're like, we're going to bring him back to do a sham trial so we can, like, prosecute him further. Okay, sick, weird. Sick and also sickening. What is happening in this goddamn country? We'll cover that. We'll cover that in a second. What I was going to say is, going back to the Elon Musk situation, the reason why, no hate, but could you cover the record high ICE arrests and raids and them camping out court appointments across the country? What do you mean no hate? I will, of course. And I have. And I will continue to do so. And we're going to do New York as well. We're going to do New York as well. Just calm down and listen. Listen. We're going to get to all of that. Okay? You're a clown, Hasan. Thank you. Thank you for saying I'm funny and entertaining. I hope I can continue to be entertaining. So the Republicans are obviously in a deep state of panic and sadness because on the one hand, you know, the two daddies are fighting, and that's always not great. That's always a sad state of affairs, right? But also, on top of that, the liberals are not in the best state of mind either, because they are looking at the situation and they have all collectively decided that this is a sham. On the one hand, you hear this from QAnon, but on the other hand, you hear this from BlueAnon, which I think is interesting. BlueAnon also thinks this back and forth is actually fake. It's crafted. It's only being done so that they can. It's only being done and unfolding. This drama is unfolding as a kayfabe, as a way to, like, I guess, get Elon back to the good graces of, like, liberals or something. Okay. And I think the truth is much simpler than that. These are two incredibly narcissistic, incredibly childish, egomaniacal man-children that have surrounded themselves with sycophants. So, of course, they were going to inevitably fight one another in broad daylight in the exact same ways that they are fighting right now. This was predestined. I don't think it's supposed to be... Like, I don't think you need to read too deeply into what's going on. You know? If they try to patch things up later down the line, I feel like a lot of people are going to be like, see, we told you, like, this was always fake. It's like, no, they just did that because they realized that, you know, there's still this allegiance that they can maintain, which I don't even know if they will be able to. I just don't, I don't think that this is, like, fake. I don't think that this is kayfabe. I don't think this is drama that they've created to make you pay attention to this and something else, like, you know, and not something else. As a matter of fact, Donald Trump's reaction to Elon Musk behaving in this insane way proves to me that this is not fake, because he is behaving like an adult, because he knows that he's the president and therefore has a massive tax cut bill that he is trying to advance right now, which is precisely the fucking reason why he's like, I don't care about this. Elon is just attacking the bill. He shouldn't attack the bill. The bill is very important. Big, beautiful bill. Big, beautiful tax breaks. Believe it. We're doing the tax breaks. You know what I mean? I think Donald Trump has been surprisingly adult and uncharacteristically adult about this breakup, which leads me to believe that the back and forth is very real and not manufactured or designed for our consumption. It was bound to happen at some point, and it's finally happening. And Trump is not excited that it's happening right now because he has a big, beautiful bill to push through.
Incentive to buy electric vehicles like Tesla.
I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here. Better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem, and he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate.
Musk was once considered the president's most powerful advisor, leaving the administration just days ago with an old...
It is also hilarious that this man promoted Teslas because Tesla stock prices were tanking in front of the White House and then turned around and cut EV credits, which further tanked the Tesla stock prices. Like, Elon is such a stupid person. He is such a remarkably dumb guy. It is alarming. It is shocking to me that he can't even demonstrate basic competency. I don't understand it. Like, you might say, what are you talking about, Hasan? He bought Twitter. He like was able to single-handedly drive discourse further and further into the right. And it's like, no, it's because he's really rich that he's able to do stuff like that, okay? He has an endless amount of power, but he doesn't necessarily have an endless amount of brain processing capabilities, okay? It's not like he is, like, luck played a formative role in his career initially, but after a certain point of wealth, you're just basically failing upwards. It's impossible. You have like all the safeguards. Like with Tesla being a great example of this. When you have two-thirds of your shareholders are institutional investors, then the entire market relies on Tesla constantly growing. And Tesla stock price is constantly going up. So now you have the rest of the stock market that is supposed to create a false sense of confidence around your stock because they're all invested in it. So no matter how much Elon lies or says ridiculous things or makes a fool of himself, these guys have to act like he's still brilliant. Otherwise, their money's on the line and nobody wants to lose money. That's it. The reason why I'm mentioning all of this is because I need you to understand that he is just a very profoundly rich person. And when you're profoundly rich, you can be stupid and still have a tremendous amount of power. And his stupidity is endless. I mean, look at this. Like, associating yourself with a guy who is primarily invested in the fossil fuel industry and its dominance, who understands, who recognizes that the fossil fuel industry's continuation is a matter of national security from his perspective, because the global competitor China is completely dominating and has almost all but monopolized the renewable sector, and you're still trying to work with this dude. It's so stupid. You're inevitably going to tank your company. Republicans are never going to buy EVs because EVs are gay and woke. Come on, man. You know Elon means well. You're joking, right? 4-month subscriber. There is 0% chance that you think Elon Musk means well. He is the wealthiest billionaire. Oh, you're joking. Okay, thank God. Jesus Christ.
Oval Office farewell and a gold key to the White House.
Thank you, Elon.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself.
He spent $200 million of his own money to help Trump and Republicans get elected, appearing at events with a chainsaw, promising to slash spending.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy.
The president
Chainsaw!
tapping him to lead the department,
Hey!
giving him the power to gut entire.
Dude, I said this yesterday, but I got to repeat it again. If I'm Bill Gates, if I'm Bilbo Gates, okay, or if I'm Jeffrey Jebediah Bezos, I'm calling up every other billionaire to be like, we gotta do something about this guy. He is fucking up the bag for all of us, dude. Because, like, billionaires are supposed to move in silence, dumbass. You're not supposed to literally come out and be like, I own the elections. I am your God, okay? That is going to calcify the resentment that people already feel. You're not supposed to be a visible person. You're not supposed to be a visible enemy, okay? You are going to accidentally instill class consciousness in the working class when you do this. So I obviously personally love Elon Musk being a fucking baboon on the timeline and also in broad daylight, okay? I think it's great. If I was a billionaire, and I am obviously, according to my haters, I'd be calling up every other billionaire being like, dude, we got to stop this right now. The people are going to grab the pitchforks and burn us at the fucking stake if Elon keeps this up. Every day that Elon Musk goes on television and goes, USA, USA, oh, chainsaw, I'm going to, as a billionaire, I'm going to fire every person that works for the National Forest Service. It's like the richest man on the planet working with another fucking billionaire asshole Republican to fire people that work at the National Weather Service is like, is propaganda that I could not have imagined. That's agitative propaganda that I would never be able to cultivate in a million fucking years. It is directly showing even the least class conscious Americans exactly what's up, exactly what's going on. Now, a lot of them are still deluded. You know, a lot of them are still primarily invested in making their own money, in being entrepreneurs, and maybe cutting a side deal here, doing drop shipping or whatever the fuck. Okay. And plenty of them still are invested in the notion of meritocracy because then they can make it one day. And obviously, if they were to realize that meritocracy is a lie, then what the fuck is this all for? Like, they're never going to actually leave their position. They're never actually going to leave their position as a wage slave for the rest of their fucking lives. So it takes a tremendous amount of agitated propaganda to overcome the pre-established social conditioning that requires everyone to buy into this process. But as material conditions worsen, and as you directly see these visible tyrants behaving in the way that like old monopolists wouldn't even behave in, that you only saw in like political cartoons, you know, like the fat guy with a monocle and a top hat being like, I will take all of your food. After all, I need it more. Like, that's Elon Musk in modernity, okay? Elon Musk is basically the human embodiment of capital. He behaves like the 1920s monopoly man with a monocle and a top hat. Like, that's what he's doing. And unlike the 1920s monopoly man, he's not even fucking building libraries. He's not even building like the next wing of the museum that you could go to. All he's doing with his spare time is constantly churning out the lowest bottom of the barrel memes so you like him. He ain't building railroads. He's building fucking tunnels to stop railroads from being built. We've devolved. Our billionaires and our oligarchs have devolved. All he wants to do is nut in his reply guys and reply gals and fucking tweet epic dank memes on the timeline. How can you look at the situation and go, nah, this guy's brilliant. He deserves it. He deserves his wealth. Meritocracy is real. You know, He's too busy sending nut by mail to Twitter reply gals. Okay, bro, I'm eating. Okay, well, sorry. It's just the truth. So I love Elon being a buffoon. The real Gilded Age barons would eat this dude for breakfast. Yeah. So I don't know. I use every opportunity I have to basically try to show people the truth about how these billionaires are not these like brilliant shadowy figures that are controlling society. They're just immensely wealthy people that, by way of hard work for sure initially, and also a tremendous amount of luck, have generated endless amounts of wealth, and now use those endless amounts of wealth to continue to rob you blind.
Agencies and fire federal workers. But now the president says he didn't need Musk or his money to win.
I think I would have won. Susie would say I would have won Pennsylvania easily anyway.
And dismissing him as a disgruntled former employee.
They leave and they wake up in the morning and the glamour's gone. The whole world is different and they become hostile.
Musk clearly listening, outraged. Writing on social media, without me, Trump would have lost the election. Adding such ingratitude and suggesting he'll start a new political party. Then pushing back on Trump's claim that he knew what was in the bill, calling that false. This bill was never shown to me even once. The president turning up the heat, writing, Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. Trump then threatening to cancel his $20 billion in government contracts. Musk then threatening to pull NASA's only ride to the International Space Station, writing, in light of the president's statement.
That, by the way, probably is one of the most like dangerous statements that Elon made. Dangerous for him, mind you. Like, calling Trump a pedophile is one thing, right? His cult is too strong. They're not going to care. They're not going to be like, oh my God, Trump was on the Epstein list. No, they're going to be like, oh, we know he was on the Epstein list. I've already said this before, and many others have as well, that like if Jeffrey Epstein didn't get assassinated, right? Most likely. That's my assessment. That's the position of the HasanAbi broadcast, obviously. If he was alive still and he was able to do like podcasts and shit, they would consider Jeffrey Epstein, if he did podcasts and was like, I'm anti-woke actually, and they only are coming after me because I exposed the wokes, he would be a fucking hero. He would be considered a goddamn hero by Republicans. Okay, these guys do not care about pedophilia. They do not care. They like pedophilia. It's like they do it. They practice it themselves. That's why there is the pedocon theory, which is a theory such as the theory of gravity at this point. You know what I mean? It's just real. It's not just a theory. It is just reality. So to be fair, though, nobody really fucks with Matt Gaetz. Yeah, it's not because he was a pedophile. It's because he fucked up the bag for the he was the leader of the Never Kever movement. That's it. That's the real reason why they hate him, because he disrupted and made a mockery of the Republican Party by causing instability.
SpaceX will begin decommissioning its Dragon spacecraft immediately.
But anyway, this is the more consequential thing that Elon Musk actually claimed he was going to do and then very quickly backed away from doing. Because this would actually have severe repercussions. It would destroy, first of all, this destroys Elon Musk's government contracts in perpetuity. Any serious government would look at this and we are, one, using the Defense Production Act to instantly nationalize SpaceX and bring it under the banner of NASA. And two, you will never get a government contract ever again. The mere threat of not playing ball with the American government, or any government really, after you got endless billions from said government because you had a petty spat, is psychotic. I mean, it's the truth. That's how much power these fuckers have. And any serious government should look at that and go, okay, we're going to Chinese style Jack Ma you. We're going to hit the Jack Ma button. You're going to the countryside, you know? You're going to be picking up a pickaxe real soon. That's what any serious government would do. Any serious government that cares about preserving its national interests, its national security, for example, they would turn around and go, what do you mean? Oh, you had a ketamine fueled bender and decided to destroy the public-private partnership that we've designed, well, seems like that's a problem for the future. Yeah, I saw the Peter Schiff shit. I'm going to talk about it. I call him Peter Shit.
Later backing off, saying he won't do that after all. Musk also saying Trump's tariffs will cause a recession and calling for the president to be impeached. As the attacks turn more vicious and personal, Tesla stock.
Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine being like I mean, this in and of itself is yet another unique radicalizing opportunity for a lot of people to understand that this private-public partnership is on tenuous ground. It's dangerous. It's dangerous to have a public-private partnership on all of this stuff because the private sector could just like pull out if they chose to do so. That's surreal. Can you imagine? Like, that's insane. And because there's so much power consolidation in the private sector, it's directly in the hands of one madman, one egomaniacal madman. As long as it is motivated by profit, the government thinks this creates stability. And the private sector can always say, well, our profit margins are down. Give us more subsidies. Give us more money, right? And as long as the government keeps the free flow of subsidies to the private sector, to the private partner, then it's fine, right? That's the way that they see it. That's the trade-off. Having said that, however, because of the way that the private sector works, where like one maniacal madman can just like break this contract apart in the way that Elon threatened, this should be a uniquely radicalizing moment for every serious person in DC that is even remotely interested in good governance. Okay? It's crazy. How would they nationalize SpaceX? I already told you, Defense Production Act and national, like, Defense Production Act invoked for national security interests. Immediately fucking every single SpaceX employee turns into a public sector employee. And they fold SpaceX back under the banner of NASA. SpaceX already is SpaceX would not exist without NASA. SpaceX scientists have worked in NASA. They've worked in JPL. SpaceX is basically NASA but privatized. So it would not require much effort to fold it back under NASA. A lot of these private sector, a lot of these like private enterprise, a lot of these private companies are basically things that governments do all around the world, but privatized in the United States of America, or even things that the government used to do in the United States of America, like NASA, but now privatized because it's more efficient. There's no more red tape. There's more opportunity and more room for deregulation, and there's less of a battle for continuous funding necessary to keep up these programs. I would love for a NASA SpaceX merger, for the record. It would be fantastic. I wish that it would happen. I wish for it to happen.
Stock started to plunge, the company losing more than $150 billion in market value. But the billionaire not letting up, writing, "Time to drop the really big bomb. Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT." Musk, of course, they are referring to Jeffrey Epstein, who was convicted of sex trafficking. He took his own life in prison, providing no evidence to back up his claims. In the middle of this very public feud, you have some public figures trying to broker peace. So take Kanye West, for example. He wrote on social media, quote, "Bros, please know we love you both so much."
We are a deeply unserious nation, and we're becoming more unserious by the day. It's alarming. It's alarming that Kanye West, who is, I don't know, on his like manic episode meltdown, is getting media coverage as a serious party between a very visible, very dramatic spat between the wealthiest person on the planet and the most powerful person on the planet. What the hell is going on? Every single day, I think to myself, this can't be fucking real. Like, think about it, dude. We back in 2016, we would talk about like Idiocracy is a documentary. It's like we live it now. We just straight up live it. We're living in the actual real life version of this. What the hell is going on? And worse, Why does nobody wake up to how psychotic this situation is? That's what I don't understand. Like, things are falling apart all around us at an alarming rate. Commentary has devolved. Every aspect of our existence has gotten worse year over year. And nobody seems to go, what the fuck is this? I guess we're just run by clowns. Everybody just goes, ha, that's funny. That's just funny. I guess we're run by delusional idiots. Who cares? I got to go back to work. You know what I mean? Oh, well, what am I to do? Don't give people what they need, a social safety net. Give them what they want, delusional content. Yeah, I do feel like we're in the end times for American empire. And when things like this happen, I am reminded of that theory. Again, theory like gravity is a theory. It's so crazy, partially because I think back in the day, like the Roman Empire didn't fall overnight. It took hundreds of years. Okay. But nowadays, with the way that technology works, with the limited attention spans that we have, and with how information travels at an incredible pace, I think the decline of empire has also, like, because empires always fall, right? But the decline of empire has also become much faster. So what would happen in periods over like 500 years can now happen in like maybe 50 years. And we're experiencing that right now. I think in the future, we'll look back at like what happened to the United States of America and the empire in decline. Point to like the Reagan era as the period that started the instability and accelerated the end of the empire. And given how things are working out with someone like Donald Trump, it almost feels like Donald Trump might be the guy who sees it happen. Not getting fries with burgers anymore is a sure sign that we are close. Yeah, this will be in the history books. Cat turd breaking. Elon Musk has unsubscribed and unfollowed me. Alex Jones says he's not in my Trump cult. Many large influencer accounts desperately tried to stay neutral today. I've never changed in years. If you want to criticize Trump's bill, non-problem. If you don't like Trump's policies, no problem. I'm okay with that. If you don't like Trump's tariffs, I'll listen to your side. But when you come out and call Trump a pedophile, that's when you've crossed a red line. Don't care about anything you have to say after that. Oh, I wish that this was real. I wish that there was like a real fissure. I wish that there was a real fissure in the Republican ranks and these guys weren't so desperate to genuflect to wealthy capital owners while simultaneously maintaining their allegiance to the Trump cult, and that this would genuinely cause a collapse of the pre-established Republican allegiances that were always on shaky grounds to begin with. It's shocking to me that the sing of Republicans broadly is deregulation and the eradication of taxes. And yet right now there is a lowering the tax bill. Okay. There is a lowering of the tax bill right now in front of us. And these guys are still fighting one another. This is a poop sock video, and thank you for trying to poop sock me. Let's continue.
And hedge fund manager Bill Ackman writing Musk and Trump should make peace for the benefit of our great country. Musk responding to that post saying, "You're not wrong," could be a sign that things are cooling off, but such tense and visceral words have been exchanged over the last 24 hours, George.
Social media had a field day. Okay, Rachel, thanks very much.
Chief Washington analyst Robert Costa. Bob, good morning. Good to see you. So what are your sources telling you behind closed doors about how this is playing out in the White House? And you've covered Trump for years. Is this any of a surprise to you?
Great to be with you. Talking to people inside and around this White House, they say this is actually quite serious. You have the richest man in the world battling the president of the United States. They also say it's theatrical, that if Musk ever changes his tune, he could find himself back in the inner circle. He has a lot of money. He could contribute to President Trump's causes. And
these guys don't care, too. That's the other thing. Like, I think Trump just wants Elon to shut the fuck up and just keep funding his initiatives. You know what I mean? He's just like, dude, shut up. Just stop talking and just keep giving me money. And if you do that, every now and then I'll throw you a bone. You know what I mean? But Elon is like, I need the clout. I need the love. I need the admiration of your cult. And he was never even able to secure that admiration when he was firmly in the bosom of Donald Trump to begin with, partially because he was a magnet for all of the most negative, most consequential policies of Trump, firing federal employees and the like, and also because he is a repulsive, grotesque monster that even Trump's cult is not going to be on board with. He looks too gross. He behaves in a way where even the most like primal-minded, lizard-brained Americans look at that and go, it's like this is too foreign of a concept for me to be on board with. Trump is also a sweaty, oily, orange man. I don't know how else to describe it in better terms, right? But Trump also has a shit ton of television experience. He knows how to craft a message. He knows how to keep people invested in what he has to say. He has camera presence. He has stage presence. He has a knack for this sort of thing. Elon does not. Trump speaks to a frequency that a lot of right-wing Americans sing to. Like, they love this shit.
Trump has a long history of public feuds with people, seeing them as a villain, but then seeing them pretty soon as a friend.
I'm curious about the big, beautiful bill. Elon Musk wants it to be a slim, beautiful bill, says big is not beautiful. What's the outlook now for that getting through the Senate and getting to the president's desk?
Tony, when I was calling my Senate Republican sources, including some senators in the last 20, to me that they fear President Trump more than they fear Elon Musk, because Musk has a lot of money. He could be very supportive of them when they run for re-election in 2026 or 2028. But at the end of the day, they want President Trump's endorsement in a primary. And if they don't have that, they don't see much of a future in politics.
Bob, we've been having that very same debate here on set. So there are real-life implications here for all Americans, from space contracts to the midterm elections. What are the implications that you are really keeping in mind here?
President Trump is wielding his power inside the federal government with a real iron grip. We've seen that since January of this year. And Elon Musk has had an up-close view of how President Trump uses power. He's not afraid to use it. So those close to President Trump tell me he could push to get rid of those contracts with SpaceX and other Musk companies. He could try to get rid of these tax subsidies. There's a real sense of being vindictive, if necessary, inside of the Trump inner circle. So they're ready to go to war with Elon Musk, but if he ever wants to be a friend again, they're willing to listen.
Oh, all right. Bob, thank you so much.
A day of online jabs, threats, and accusations leading to the...
I hate my ex. Big, beautiful breakup. Trump-Elon bromance explodes into insults and threats. I love this. God. New York Post, always goated. New York Post, the real gray lady, okay? The real paper of record, not the New York Times, ew, more like the New York Crimes. New York Post, on the other hand, more like the New York Goats, okay? Classic.
New York Post cover, I hate my...
New York Post forced to have a front page that's not race baiting. Yeah. When they go low, we go high. Oh, yeah. Adam Friedland did Chris Cuomo's show. I'm going to cover that in a second.
But cooler heads could still prevail as White House aides are reportedly working to broker a truce between President Trump and Elon Musk.
Fox team coverage to kick things off this Friday. David Spunt will have more on the probe of former President Biden's decline. But first to our Aisha Husty. She is live where it's all happening, the White House. What are the chances that Musk and Trump get on the phone today and talk this one out?
Hey, John and Sandra, good to see you. I would say the chances are very, very slim to none. And that's really, quite frankly, coming from the president himself, who apparently is calling just about everyone or getting on the phone with just about everyone except for his old pal, Elon Musk. He just got off the phone with our Brett Baer and told him this, that he is not interested in talking to Elon. He is not worried about any of these third-party threats. Elon's been on X talking about perhaps we should create a third party. And Trump also pointed to some favorable polling that shows that there is strong support for him amongst Republicans on Capitol Hill. Of course, this all started because of...
By the way, it is alarming how quickly Trump was able to rebuild goodwill after having a record-breaking disapproval for virtually all of his policies, except for the one thing that no Democrat even touched with a 10-foot pole, trans issues, where he was in the red for everything. And the Democrats basically did the Kilmar Abrego Garcia thing. A couple Democrats did. And then they instantly stopped. Zero counters from the Dems. And all of a sudden, Trump is still dominating the headlines. Trump is still able to shape the media narratives to the way that he wants to. And outside of instances like this, where tensions run hot and there's a little bit of back and forth and there's drama or whatever, which has nothing to do with the Democrats, of course. Obviously, this happened because Republicans just chose to fight amongst themselves. The Democrats didn't push for this. And without that counter messaging, of course, Trump is able to rebuild confidence in his administration, even though they're doing spectacularly stupid things in broad daylight. Kind of feels like bullshit. No, he's able to. Well, there are a lot of people on the edges. Okay, there are a lot of people on the edges within the Trump coalition that were getting off this ride. They were getting off the Trump ride. They were like, I don't know about this tariff stuff. The tariff stuff actually did a big number. Okay. But the Democrats never actually attacked on any of these weaknesses. They never pounced on anything, as opposed to the way the Republicans would never, and the Republicans have never actually let go of opportunities. Can you imagine if a Democratic leadership was this openly failing in broad daylight? Do you think the Republicans wouldn't make a massive fucking stink? The Republicans would be using this opportunity to be like, oh my God, look at how stupid these guys are. Look at how bad they are. It would dominate media discourse. They did that with Joe Biden. They never stopped attacking. Democrats, on the other hand, nothing. Not a fucking peep. All you hear from Hakeem Jeffries is yeah, are they arresting staffers of my congressional caucus members? Are they arresting members of the Democratic Party? Is the DOJ coming after members of the Democratic Party? We'll respond at some point. And our response will be swift, I think. How are you going to let that go? What the fuck's going on?
Of the big, beautiful bill, and Elon is still trying to kill that. And here's a direct quote from the president this afternoon. He says, Elon's totally lost it. So we don't expect to see a phone call between these two men, at least today. We shall see where this goes. In the meantime, the White House is trying to figure out what to do with that red Tesla with Florida plates that, remember, Trump bought at full price back in March. It's still sitting here on the White House grounds, and we are told it's either going to be given away or it's going to be sold off. The president actually has not said anything on camera about this dust up today. He dodged a question late last evening after briefly commenting on Musk during a visit with the German chancellor. Watch this.
I'd rather have him criticize me than the bill, because the bill is incredible. Elon's upset because we took the EV mandate. Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we will anymore.
Mr. President, any response to Elon Musk claiming that the Epstein files?
So for his part, Musk appears to be a little bit more open to mending relations. Last night, he posted on X that he won't, in fact, be decommissioning the Dragon spacecraft after he posted that he would do that. And then he replied, "You're not wrong," to a post by David Ackman, who wrote, "The two men should make peace for the benefit of our great country. We are much stronger together than apart." So at this hour of this breakup watch here at the White House, President Trump not budging. He departs for Bedminster later this afternoon, about 3 o'clock, and that will be what we expect the first time we'll see him today. And maybe he'll talk to us and the cameras about what he thinks about Elon. John.
Well, be sure to ask him about that red Tesla, because the denouement of that little item is something that we're all interested in.
Are you interested in that Tesla, John?
Well, no, I'm interested in the story. And the fact that it's got Florida plates
sale,
on it, by now it's supposed to have D.C. plates on it, I think, though maybe the president gets special dispensation on that. Thanks, Aisha. Keep us posted. Sandra?
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.
And our chief Washington correspondent, John Carl. So, John, let's file this whole feud under shocking but not surprising. You call the president on his cell phone at 6:45, he picks up.
Yeah, he picked up. Look, there's been us is working to put together a call between Elon Musk and Donald Trump to broker some kind of peace. I asked Donald Trump about that. He said he's not particularly interested in talking to Elon Musk. He said Elon wants to talk to him. He's not ready to talk to Musk, who he called a man who has lost his mind.
They have a lot of leverage over each other.
Why are you so certain that the big beautiful bill won't pass the Senate? I thought that the actual spoilers on the Republican side would stay firm, but I don't know anymore. The Democrats could try and actively dominate Senate sessions with the endless amount of time that they can get. Like, they could literally do the Cory Booker style, like, filibuster. There's only so many days remaining in the legislative session, but I don't think that they're going to do that. I don't think the Dems are going to do anything, really. Why doesn't Elon want to cut spending? What's in it for him? No, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. The reason why he doesn't like the bill is because it takes away his EV credits. That's what he doesn't like about it. Not the, like, it hurts Tesla's stock prices, which is directly associated with his net worth. Why do you doubt the Democrats? Bernie and Elizabeth Warren will stop this bill for sure, and also get good media hits from it. Debated. Happy Friday, chat. Thank a union worker. Good one.
Oh, there's no question about that. Look, Elon Musk, obviously the richest man on the planet, the biggest Republican donor in the history of Republican donors. But this is, in many ways,
contracts with the government.
Yeah, but this is asymmetric. I mean, Donald Trump, to use his phrase, really holds the cards here. Donald Trump could do severe damage to Elon Musk if he were to go vindictive. And he's been remarkably restrained. There's been remarkable restraint from Donald Trump. I mean, look, Elon Musk went nuclear. You're talking about his impeachment, talking about tying him to the world's most notorious sex trafficker, all of this. And Donald Trump has been restrained. But he could go after the government contracts. He could announce criminal investigations into what Elon Musk was doing on Doge. I mean, you've seen Steve Bannon suggest he could use the Defense Production Act to try to seize parts of SpaceX. I mean, there's a lot that Donald Trump
to be deported as well.
Yeah, he also called him being deported. So look, Elon Musk is very powerful.
Oh God. Oh my God. I mean, it's never gonna happen. It's never going to happen, but, like, can you imagine? Oh, God. Oh, my God. I want to live in that world. I want to live in that alternative reality, man. That's the reality that I want to live in.
He's also a very big target.
One of the other surprising things
I actually got literal chills. It's not even a joke. I got chills.
Several hours for the vice president, J.D. Vance, to weigh in here. He's usually on social media all the time.
He's on social media. He's got a hair trigger on this stuff. He was silent for 8 hours while Elon Musk, somebody who has been very close to J.D. Vance,
even
went
before
after
Trump.
Yes, they were allies before he was his running mate. And then when J.D. Vance finally came out, what did he do? He didn't hit back at Elon Musk. He didn't really defend specifically, none of it, Donald Trump against those charges. He said, I stand beside Donald Trump. I mean, where else is he going to stand? He's the vice president. So a lot of people in the MAGA movement are wondering where J.D. Vance's loyalties are after that yesterday. I assume we'll hear more from him, but it was a very quiet period.
Fascinating. I assume the president's probably watching since he took your call. Let's see if he calls you back in a few minutes. Thanks, John. Rebecca.
Quite the breakup, and you have to wonder what the rest of the world is thinking as they watch all of this unfold as well.
All right, we do have breaking news this morning.
What is President Trump's latest thinking about his explosive feud with Elon Musk?
I'm not going to lie. I kind of like that this is dominating the media headlines because this at least, like, once again, creates organic discontent surrounding the big, beautiful bill, even if it's from the wrong side, even if it's from the side where people are like, oh, yeah, well, I'm not gonna go to the DOJ Attorney General Pam Bondi announcing major criminal arrest for Kilmar Ortega Garcia. I'll cover it after the conference is over, but it's good that there's at least like some kind of discontent surrounding this bill. It's kind of like relying on the Freedom Caucus to tank certain cuts to spending because they just are angry that there's not enough cuts. You know what I mean? Because it's just not going to be, the resistance is not going to come from the Democrats. You know what I mean? So I'll take whatever I can get. Hopefully this will at least extend. This will some natural hurdle against it. I don't know.
Well, joining us now, someone who just got off the phone with the president. CNN chief political correspondent Dana Bash joins us now by phone. Dana, what did he tell you?
Good morning, John. Well, he said that he's, quote, well, here's exactly what he said, quote, I'm not even thinking about Elon.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. Central Committee's right. This kind of right-wing infighting is exactly what prevented Obama from doing a grand bargain to cut Social Security and Medicare in his term, if you recall, which was, of course, actively petitioned for and pushed for by Joseph Robinette Brandon. And the Tea Party caucus was the one who actually decided, oh, it doesn't do enough cuts. And they tanked it. So I'll take the destruction of this bill, whichever way it comes. Like whichever. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna work. I don't think it's gonna work at the end of the day because like there is a fairly sizable tax increase due to the sunsetting tax cuts that Donald Trump, ironically enough, wrote in his previous tenure when he designed the tax cuts. And therefore, that's seen as a tax increase. And Republicans are allergic to such things. But who knows?
He's got a problem. The poor guy's got a problem. He said he won't be speaking to him for a while, but he said he wishes Elon Musk well. It was a short conversation. He didn't seem very exercised about it. And the interesting thing is, of course, the context of this is how many people who are in both men's orbits are trying to broker a peace deal, so to speak, and trying to get them to talk because of the concern about the fallout in so many directions. I mean, the blast radius from this fallout is really, really big and very wide. But right now he said he's not interested in that, and he's moving on. And in typical Donald Trump fashion, John, before I even asked about what he wanted the storyline,
he had to sunset them because it would have been unable to use reconciliation because the tax code would be too expensive. They love lying with sunsets to get better scores with the CBO. Yeah.
To be today about the economy. He was talking about gas prices. He said he was waiting for the jobs numbers to come out, which I think is about 2 minutes from now. So as he has done his entire career, not just political, but since he was a businessman, trying to push out the narrative and push out the story that he thinks is the most advantageous for him. And he thinks that's the economy now. But, of course, we did briefly talk about Elon Musk. And the headline is he says he has no plans to talk to him right now.
Yeah, just to reiterate, again, because the story overnight has been a whole slew of people working to tone things down and to de-escalate. And he's telling you, I don't want to talk to him right now. And then he also threw that elbow saying that, the poor guy's got a problem. So, if Elon Musk is waking up this morning, he might read that, I imagine, as a new insult.
He might. He also said, I won't be speaking to him for a while, I guess, but I wish him well. He wasn't exercised. He didn't sound angry. He sounded I guess, more resigned to where their relationship is right now. But he obviously is very well aware of the impact that this is having. And that's why I found it interesting that even though he seemed to try to put a stop to any speculation or, as you were saying, the entreaties from so many people for the two of them to make up, he was still trying to kind of shape the narrative about what is coming out of the White House. It's not an easy thing to do right now because literally the entire world is focused on this remarkable feud between the President of the United States and Elon Musk.
I will say that's 100% true. People were talking about it on the subway, on the sidewalks, everywhere I turned yesterday afternoon, noon, and evening. This has 100% focus. Dana Bash sharing her interesting morning conversation with the President of the United States. Thank you very much. We'll let you get ready for Inside Politics, which airs at 12 p.m. Eastern. All right, with us, Mendy, a Democrat from California. So, Congressman, I think you just heard the news. President Trump says of Elon Musk, he's got a problem.
Remember when the Senate parliamentarian was a hurdle to adding on an increase to the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour, and the Democrats went, "Oh no, the Senate parliamentarian, what do we do?" Well, here's how much power the Senate parliamentarian currently holds. Extreme in the weeds shit just shows you the way Republicans love to wield power and the Democrats don't. They also ready to bypass the parliamentarian for this bill, by the way. Remember when the Dems pretended they couldn't raise the minimum wage because of that staffer? At the time, I explained in great detail how in the past, the Republicans under Dick Cheney's leadership had actually bypassed the Senate parliamentarian because it's an appointed position. They fired a previous Senate parliamentarian under the George W. Bush administration for not playing ball with the Republican agenda, and they reappointed one that would play ball. Except when Democrats were in power and the $15 minimum wage was on a budget reconciliation that requires a simple majority to pass, and the Democrats had the votes, or could have at least whipped the votes for that simple majority, okay? The Senate parliamentarian said, you have to take out the $15 minimum wage increase. Here it is. Senate parliamentarian rejects Democrats' third attempt to include immigration in economic bill. And whoa, what the hell? You're out of free articles. Since when does CNN do these like crazy paywalls? What the hell? Hold on. I didn't even realize. Maybe I haven't been reading too much CNN. Yeah. Senate parliamentarian dominated the Democratic Party over and over again, weirdly enough. But of course, when it comes to the Republicans and their agenda, the Senate parliamentarian is no longer an obstacle. Interesting. Interesting how little you care about these procedural rules when you actually have an ambition, when you actually have a political goal, and you will do everything in your power to complete said political goal. How interesting. Of course, Republicans can get away with defending this erosion of the Senate rules because they're doing it at the behest of corporate profits and the wealthy keeping more take-home pay than before. When it comes down to it, they get away with it because it's tax us to the wealthy. You can't get away with it if it's actually improving the living conditions of the working poor, of the working class of Americans. All of these procedural they are still backed by the same corporate entities. They are still beholden to their corporate benefactors and their interests. And their interests are identical with the Republican Party's interests, which is to deregulate, constantly push for public-private partnerships, and constantly fuck over the working poor.
The poor guy's got a problem, says he has no plans to speak with him, but that he wishes him well. The last 24 hours, this fight has been explosive. I've heard some people call it catty. But what's the significance from where you sit? What does this matter to the country and to the policy that you have voted on and will be voting on again?
It's extremely important. We can get caught up in the tit for tat and back and forth with a tweet here or there. But the reality is this is going to have a significant impact on a very, very crucial piece of legislation, which in my view is an absolutely horrible piece of legislation. That's the big ugly bill or the big beautiful bill, depending upon how you look at it. The reality is that legislation is seriously impacted by this fight. You get past the various personality issues involved, and Musk is pointing out that the bill has very, very serious consequences for our national debt. And I just overheard the speaker a moment ago talking about the beautiful cuts, the largest cuts ever. Well, those are cuts on critical programs, on healthcare programs, the Medicaid.
Why are you linking Summer Games Fest right now? It doesn't start until 2 p.m. Please stop.
President Trump and Elon Musk at odds on a number of issues, from the big, beautiful bill to subsidies for electric vehicles, and their disagreements spilling over into the public.
And possibly who runs NASA is a big deal, too. So could a big, beautiful truce be in the works, or will that divide deepen?
Peter Ducey is live at the White House with the details. Peter?
And we have so much more to report about this just since we talked in the last hour. So when you walk to the broadcasting tents here on the north side, you see West Executive Drive. That's the driveway between the White House and the old executive office building. There is a Tesla there that President Trump bought during a Tesla demo on the South Lawn a few months ago to try to help Elon Musk's business while it was being vandalized. We're told that Tesla, still sitting there, the red Tesla with Florida tags, is either going to be given away.
So what's going to happen? Are the Republicans also going to start vandalizing Teslas? As they said, it was real terrorism. Like this is a really funny moment where like Elon Musk's idiotic allegiance with the Trump administration that caused the last bastion of Tesla drivers to basically who were all liberals to basically despise him with the hopes that like maybe he would be able to pick up a new market of Tesla buyers that never actually came in the form of Republicans and MAGA Trump supporters. Now all of those guys also hate Tesla. He's just eating it from both angles.
Or sold off. And we are told that it was about a month that Elon Musk was wearing thin on Trump. So this was not a...
It's pretty funny because, like, remember those images of middle-class suburban Hitlerites driving to Tesla dealerships and like putting their massive F-250 lifted pickup trucks outside of Tesla dealerships to like defend Tesla? What are they going to do now? They're going to drive there again and just roll coal outside of the Tesla dealerships now?
A sudden exit and then blow up. There was about a month that he was wearing thin, the president's word. Something else, there was some reporting today about the possibility of a Trump and Elon Musk phone call to make nice. Aides are telling me that is not something they are tracking. It's possible that some staffers might try to talk to Musk, but no Trump and Musk call, at least not that we know about. We did hear from the president yesterday, and he didn't sound mad, but he sounded disappointed.
Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we're well anymore, but I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot. And I'll be honest, I think he misses the place. I think he got out there and all of a sudden he wasn't in this beautiful Oval Office.
The lowest blows yesterday came from Elon. He said, without me, Trump would have lost the election. Dems would control the House and the Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. And then he wrote, time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the reason they have not been made public. JT. The president, of course, said that Musk had been wearing thin and he was asked to leave. And the president offered up the idea that the fastest way to save money would be to cancel Musk's government contracts. Musk then wrote, in light of the president's statement about cancellation of my government contracts, SpaceX will begin decommissioning its Dragon spacecraft immediately. But he later said, okay, we won't decommission.
I love this. There are people in the media talk about the Epstein part of this. Like nobody's saying, wow, this means we should investigate Trump here. It's all about this fight between the two of them. I mean, it makes sense because like low key, everybody knew that Donald Trump was aligned with Epstein for a while. And also, on the other side, there are people who were aligned with Jeffrey Epstein after the pedophilia stuff was, made very clear to everyone. And those people are usually on the elite side of the Democratic Party. This was the reason why the Epstein angle was unironically not talked about too much by the Democrats in this past election cycle. I was very frustrated about this because I was like, this is a great line of attack. His fucking base is filled to the brim with like conspiracy weirdos. You could actually hit him on the Epstein stuff over and over again. But you can't do that if you're literally fucking Bill Clinton's party. You know what I mean? You can't do that when you're hugging and kissing Bill Clinton and sending him out on campaign stops. Republicans, on the other hand, don't care about hypocrisy or perceived hypocrisy. So they always hit the Epstein angle with the Democrats.
Dragon. Trump rarely seems as close to AIDS as he did for a time to Elon Musk, and we asked about that at the start of his term.
Elon Musk said today, I love Donald Trump as much as a straight man can love another man. What does the First Lady think about that?
Oh, I think she'll be okay with it somehow.
So this was a sensational back and forth on the platform Elon Musk owns yesterday, but there were signs of strain for the last week or so in public. Elon Musk blew up in the Oval Office during his send-off when I tried to ask him about this big New York Times report that alleged he was blurring the lines between medical use of drugs and recreational use of drugs, and we still don't have any real clear.
Ooh, douchey. Douchey is a hatchet man for the admin. He's coming in hot with the ketamine stuff. It is pretty crazy that this person, this profoundly wealthy individual, the wealthiest individual on the planet, was openly high as giraffe pussy in the fucking White House, like all the time. He was gumming in the White House all the time. It's crazy. Like he's just like doing this in the fucking White House behind Donald Trump. Everybody knew about it. The New York Times reported on it, and like it's not that big of a deal. It's just once again the endless amount of charitability you get as long as you associate with the right is crazy. It's crazy. On the other side, God forbid you advocate for the working poor, even if you're not a part of the working poor. You know what I mean? God for fucking bid. You're public enemy number one, persona non grata. Look at this. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Look at this. I mean, come on, man. What the hell are we doing? My man's out here looking like Adolf watching the Olympics, but instead of uppers, he's on downers, dude. He's like, you know what I'm talking about? The footage of Adolf Hitler at the Olympics where he's like shaking because he's on a biblical amount of methamphetamines. What is your headcanon explanation behind his black eye? Steve Miller slapped him with his dick. I don't know. Yeah, Hitler tweaking out. No, you don't understand, guys. He's just autistic. He's just doing self-soothing behavior. He went nonverbal. Hitler went nonverbal. You just don't get it. He's stimming. He's autistic. He's just stimming. It's really ableist of you to say this. Just like Elon is stimming. He's also autistic. He's just stimming right now. That's all this is. Self-soothing behavior. But you liberals wouldn't understand that because you guys are no longer tolerant.
Clarity about that. Back to you.
Right, one thing is pretty clear, Peter, isn't he?
Hi, it's not a genuine question. I thought Fox News was unreliable. Why are we watching Fox? 2 reasons. Number one, content. Fox News is infinitely better content than CNN or MSNBC or any of these other news providers. But even more importantly, number two, just because it's unreliable doesn't mean that it's not the primary source of news for the overwhelming majority of Americans. Okay? You have to study your enemy. You have to understand what your ideological opponents are learning and what they are saying. You have to get ready for it. This is hogwash. It's at the heart of hogwash. You have to understand the hog. You have to become the hog. You have to study the hog. And that's what we do. It's also, it's also entertaining to study the hog, so that's great. But yeah, that's why we do it. Also, you need to understand, we live in the age of misinformation. So wrong narratives that are completely incorrect, that are easily dismissed by just exercising a little bit of critical thinking, those wrong narratives are more important than the truth, because if a lot of people believe it, if the overwhelming majority believe false information, that might as well be the truth. That is the unfortunate reality that we exist in right now. And considering that a big part of my job is to look at the false narratives that are presented and then and talk about and offer counter messages to the wrong information that's being presented, and to show you what the truth is, I have to look at this stuff.
Wasn't Elon Musk really tight with J.D. Vance? Didn't they have a relationship prior because of their tech backgrounds? And I'm wondering, with him, he's also tight. Elon Musk is tight with Don Jr. too. So I don't know. Did he?
But could you also help
this?
spread
Is he
misinformation?
breaking up with
No.
everybody he knows there?
It's unclear how much thought went into this ahead of time, but we are not hearing any Republicans come out to say we are with Elon Musk. Even the Republicans who were with him at a couple days ago when he started saying we need the big, beautiful bill to be smaller. And if anything, some of the top folks around here that you talk to, it seems like this bill, because if lawmakers, elected Republicans, have to pick a side between Elon Musk, who wants the bill smaller and killed in its current form, or Donald Trump, who wants it through, most of the people in elected Washington are going to go with Donald Trump.
Yeah, everybody not named Rand Paul and Tom Massey.
Right.
Yep. Thanks so much, Peter.
Thank you, Peter. Elon, this is what Caroline Levitt said. Elon can speak for his companies as a businessman, but President Trump has the responsibility to fight for our country. Ted Cruz was on last night. He said it's unfortunate. They're both extraordinary men. He said Elon's an incredible business leader and businessman, and Trump's phenomenal. Works daily, pulling this country back from the abyss. He said they're both great leaders. When they were together, they were better for the country. And Elon was right. He said we need to make the bill better. We need to make more cuts. And he said in the Senate, they will definitely be doing that.
They're still together. This is just a fight. Grown men fight. We don't get to see it publicly sometimes. Yeah, they should have handled this behind closed doors, but there's just no alternative. What is Elon going to do? Go become a Democrat? Going to start a third party? That's not going to happen. He is our George Soros, and Donald Trump is the right Barack Obama. And the president.
Wait, what? Hey, yo, what? Wait, what? He's not wrong. Wait, I'm sorry. I just got whiplash. What? That's me. I say that. That's my job. Why is he saying that? Oh my God. Republicans are so fucking polarized already. They're so partisan that it doesn't matter. You can just invoke the name of George Soros, but as a positive, and invoke the name of Obama, but as a positive. That's crazy. That's my take. I say Donald Trump is the white man's Barack Obama. I'm the one who says, look at these guys who constantly complain about George Soros. Meanwhile, Elon Musk is doing George Soros shit. And now they're saying it, but as a positive, what the hell?
And has a role. He has to get things passed. He has to bring the coalition together. He has to worry about the Senate as well as Congress, and has to keep the tent together, whereas Elon can put pressure from his standpoint of saying, I want this in the bill, but he doesn't have the responsibility of making sure it gets passed. He's used to having his company where he has the final say, The government doesn't work that way.
He spent $288 million for Republican causes. Tesla's stock is down 14%. And the problem he has is Elon Musk is brilliant, but he's not popular. So every Democrat is against him now. And now Republicans are asked to make a choice between the most popular Republican and Elon Musk. He's not going to come out on top there. All he has is money, and he is brilliant. But Bill Ackman gave a lot of people hope when he put this out, and he got a response. He is a self-made billionaire and a friend of both men. He said, I support Donald Trump and Elon Musk, and they should make peace for the benefit of the great country. We are much stronger together than apart. And then Musk came right back with this. You're not wrong. That beats you're on Epstein's list.
They'll definitely make peace. Donald Trump has had feuds with a lot of other people, a lot of Republicans.
Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance. I mean, pretty much his whole cabinet.
Ted Cruz, remember?
Exactly.
And they came back together. Yeah, they need each other.
Yeah, they come back together when the other side kisses the ring. The problem here is Elon also has a God complex, just like Donald Trump does. And because of that, he doesn't want to kiss the ring. He truly thinks he is like directly responsible for Trump's victory. And to a certain degree, Elon Musk did play a role, not because he was like a uniquely charismatic person, but because he bought Twitter and pumped an endless amount of money and an endless amount of right-wing misinformation to flood the market. For sure, that played a role. But I think the problem here is Elon Musk thinks his charisma, his individual charisma, allowed Donald Trump to win because he's crazy. He's out of his fucking mind. Elon Musk, I think, legitimately believes the bullshit. Like, he tweaked the algo so that everyone has to see his dick riders. And then he started believing that he actually was a uniquely charismatic individual. I think he's always thought that he was a uniquely charismatic individual, if we're being honest. But like, that's what's going on right now. He miscalculated, which is a routine occurrence for Elon. Here's some spectacular Republican cope, by the way. We're doing Hogwatch, obviously. Exactly. Friends disagree. Friends fight. Friends need a break from each other. Friends let each other blow smoke. Friends remain friends. It is called adulthood. Please call him. You two are adults. This should not be a public argument. This is not okay. Work this out privately. Bring him back into the fold. You two are friends. Don't throw that away. And then Jack Posobiec with the greatest hit. Some of y'all can't handle two high agency males going at it, and it really shows. This is direct communication, phallocentric versus indirect communication, gynocentric. I understand you aren't used to it. And wokeness, also Jack Posobiec. X is not real life, did not age well. Elon Musk and Donald Trump are trolling 100. I wouldn't be surprised if they were sitting side by side, posting. Dinesh D'Souza. Is this some sort of perverse scheme to force the release of the Epstein files? How great it would be to have a horde of bad guys publicly exposed. Then Trump and Elon break out the champagne. Elon says, told you I could get the Democrats to scream for that list. Laughter. I don't even want to call this nuclear grade copium, okay? Because I think this is a different thing. Copium is wishful thinking. This is fan fiction. This is parasocial delusion. This is schizophrenia. Like, there needs to be a different word for what is unfolding here. This is a demonstration of mental illness, okay? Like, this is the type of shit you do when you're a teenager and you write a Wattpad fanfic, okay? Except Dinesh D'Souza is like a full-grown adult. What the fuck is going on? They've lost their dang minds. I mean, they have a long time ago, but it's really funny that they're looking at this back and forth. They're looking at this back and forth and they're like, oh, there's got to be a different way. There's got to be a different reason. I think the reason why they're having this issue is because Elon is a major funder of Republican interests. Elon is seen as like a hero for the online right, especially because of the floodgates of neo-Nazi sentiment that he opened up with the purchase of Twitter. Okay. But also they're firmly invested in the Trump cult. So they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. And depending on how much more clout or how much more money they can possibly get from either side, that's how you know people. That's where you see people take a side, like the Asmongols of the world or the Alex Joneses of the world. Here's Cat Turd speaking out on Alex Jones being a great betrayer. Okay? What a piece of shit Alex Jones turned out to be. What a fucking fraud. He's literally implying here that Trump is a pedo. He's been silent all day while Trump has been viciously attacked with lies. I used to respect Alex Jones, but now he's just a piece of shit fraud. What a fucking sellout. Because Alex Jones posted, Trump needs to respond ASAP. I noticed he did not take questions at his public meeting today. But of course, friends get together and turn around and make up. Alex Jones says, I've investigated Trump for 10 years, looking into any connection to Epstein crimes and found zero evidence. FYI, I've been a fan of Alex Jones as long as I can remember. Tensions were high yesterday, and when I read his tweet that I lashed out on, I was thinking it was him saying Trump was guilty because he hadn't responded yet. I listened to Alex later explain that he was just trying to urge Trump to get in front of it. And as this tweet says, he doesn't believe Trump has any connection to Epstein's. Then it was me personally he called a cult member, lol. Alex has been fighting the good fight for a long time. I hold no ill will towards him. For my part, I shouldn't have lashed out so quickly. Hopefully this will end the matter so we can all get back to fighting to save this country. Save this country? You're a 60-year-old man who, in moments where he's not killing his fucking domesticated animals, is tweeting about, I don't know, farting and how much you love Donald Trump. How are you saving the country this way? I'm saving the country. How? By posting 9gag memes. God damn, these people are so fucking stupid. This is the way. More of this. Can confirm that CatTurd2 privately reached out to me yesterday about a few of my tweets and offered to personally get on a phone call with me to share his point of view. This is how you handle disagreement among friends. And then, of course, like they're fantasizing about like AOC being upset that Elon won't become a major donor to the fucking Dems. It's all made up. They would rather live in fantasy land than to, even for a fucking moment, recognize the truth that's in front of them. I guess it's more fun to live that way. What the fuck, man? Hog talk. That's true. That is what's going on. Everyone is so sad. Tensions are high.
Needed Trump. Trump, helped Ted Cruz get over the finish line for his Senate race, and then Ted Cruz.
What is this? I gave you everything, yet your heart still belongs to another. Okay, this is a TikToker making fun of the way Republicans are reacting to this. But can you tell me if there is anything different than the average Republican reacting to this breakup? Like, this is literally old man Yowie. They unironically, like 65-year-old HVAC business owners are unironically behaving as though they are like K-pop stans or like anime stans that are like 15 years old, that ship their favorite characters in Toxic Yowie, and now the breakup is imminent, you know? Loss. Oh no. Classic. Surprisingly diplomatic approach. Oh yeah, I saw this. I love you, but please turn off your phone or give me a call. I cannot support hate. Please stop this. I know this isn't your heart. Elon. Grok, is this real? Oh my God. Every fucking blue check mark. No, this is Grimes posting. You're just jealous because the Dems got zero interest in drama. We got Cuck Schumer. This image in and of itself, the relationship between the two, if we're being real. Vivian responded.
I do not want to comment.
Oh, yeah. She said, I love being proven right. That's it.
Do not want to comment.
Trump's been through 2 big breakups in the polycule this month. Lay off. Oh.
Cruz honored him in return by supporting him during his campaigns. So we've seen this before. I think they will make truce.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And
here's
really
the part.